This type of journaling really allows my brain to just decompress because I think a lot and I can write a lot, but I like to transmute into an archive of myself. Hello, friends of the internet. Today, I am going to share with you this creative journal, art journal, junk journal, collage journal, whatever you want to call it. We're going to do a flip through and I will share a bit of tips and ideas and what have you. But as you hopefully know, or I hope that you know, that everybody's journal is different, everybody has different styles, and we shouldn't be policing people on how they journal because essentially it is a personal creative practice. That is just my little 2 cents. Let's have a look through. Okay, so this is the first spread, which was on the 1st of Feb. We've got a lovely tarot card in the spread. This was a package from my lovely sister friend, Adrian. She sent me some stickers and some lovely ephemera, and it was a full moon in Leo. I like to write little notes. So my creative process when it comes to journaling is that I have a lot of different journals where I do like full stream of consciousness writing, where I do poetry, different journals for different purposes. But I do like to add some sort of idea of what I have been journaling about before in my big journal, or I will do something here and take it into my big journal. So it will be either like a manifestation, a prayer, a desire, a dream, an affirmation, something along those lines. There are lots of different fun things that you can collect, like lotto papers. I saw it once in the shop and I was like, that actually looks really cool. So yeah, I wrote a little something about luck. A lot of the stuff is also just in my box of collecting stuff. And I started a thing on TikTok called it the Anti-Precious Project, meaning that we use up the things that we collect so that we don't just hoard stuff, because I know it is 2 different hobbies, to collect stuff for your journal and to use it in your journal. So I've got different sort of styles that emerge here. So this is more like a collage vibe. This one was really cool. Also collage vibe with a bit of vintage old papers that I found. I did also clean out my childhood home, so there was a lot of sort of ephemera that I found. And this, I don't journal in every day, but no one is coming to check on me to see if I have done it every day, and I'm not going to put that pressure on myself, but I do like to do it quite often. So this spread was from a journaling event I went to. It was quite reflective and sweet, and this is all the papers. Okay, I see what I did here. I took an envelope, and these are the prompts. I was replying to the prompts. As you can tell, I love a label maker. And also, I love to work with a sort of color scheme that sort of brings out a theme or an element of what I want to be talking about. And a lot of the time I'm just in dialogue with myself when I write quick little paragraphs. It's actually this whole process, this whole practice actually is just being in dialogue with myself and responding to feelings that I have. I love this one. This is really cool. So this bright Luma paper at the back is actually one of my own zines that I used a misprint of. And so we need to use our stickers, like we collect stickers for what? To be used. So sometimes it's like a mood board. Sometimes it's, I don't know. I don't really like to box it into one sort of type of journaling because it evolves day by day based off what my vibe is and what I want to express and what I want to put down or what I'm feeling. So I do work with color palettes quite a lot because I feel like that sort of expresses something. Color theory, I did my taxes, so now I can create. I also made a zine about crashing out, about doing my taxes. So I made like a zine that is supportive when it comes to tax season time, so that I can prepare. I made a checklist and everything for myself. Parking tickets, business cards, packaging. This is beautiful. I received this in one of the traveling journal, sisterhood of the traveling journal group, which was very, very sweet, very fun. Oh, I love this. I do have this painting. I need to put it up in my apartment somewhere. And then I also start, printing things, because sometimes you just want a certain sort of visual to express something. So I use a lot of magazine cutouts and papers that I collect, but then I also use stickers and I print out things, because essentially this is mood boarding. This is vision boarding, Here's a lovely one on grief. It was a big theme for me also in my previous journal, and I made a few zines about grief. It's one of my greatest creative muses, I believe. This is also a cool, fun one. Film negatives. I like this look. I like this feel. This is another one from a journaling event I went to, The World I Want to Live In. So you can use markers, like paint markers, add some text, add some diversity to the spread. Spend to learn, earn. Another card. So also sometimes when I don't know what to journal about, I will just be like, what is the moon doing, or what's happening cosmologically? What season are we in? How does it relate to me? And using sort of symbolism to illustrate some thoughts that I have instead of writing out paragraphs. This was fun. This commemorates the Cape Town Print Fair, where I led a zine workshop. So this pink background was actually posters that were on the wall, and I took one down at the end of the event, obviously to put in my journal. I like to use things. This is, following through on that. This is the sign-up sheet that I had. This is my renewing my car license. It's an official document. Covered up the details. So this spread, New Moon Aries, this was a lovely girls' evening where we created whatever we wanted to create. Some were painting, some were making zines. I decided to just do a spread in my journal, and sometimes just using one piece of text that kind of inspires a vibe. And then sometimes it's just a color vibe. I think I just wanted to use this lovely packaging. So this is lino print cut that I made, and obviously it's a misprint because it's bleeding and flooding, and I didn't shake the ink in the bottle properly. I just squirted it out and I made a few copies. I eventually got a few that looked decent. This phrase is from a zine, the one I mentioned about doing my taxes. Soft structures for hard systems. So this spread is not necessarily a spread, but I wanted to commemorate it here. It is from World Collage Day, which was the 9th of May. I went to a haiku poetry collage workshop, and I made 4 little squares, and I thought to keep them in this journal. So this spread is pretty simple. I used some stickers from my friend, from her brand Luniverse, and just contemplating on opening opening up my voice, to open up my field, to open up my mind, to open up my sense of feeling, to open up my being, to open up myself. This is sort of like an affirmation to receive. Some pamphlets. This is Little Me. So this zine is a mini zine that I made from journal spreads in one of my other journals. And I made the journal spread into a zine, and now I'm using the zine in this journal spread. There's so much repurposing you can do with paper stuff, which is why I love working with existing media, because you can use something that already exists and give it new meaning by excavating, cutting, disassembling, and reimagining things in a new sort of context or a new idea, or it can evoke some sort of contemplation. This thank you card is from an artist. I bought a lino print from them, and they upcycle old postcards and they use pattern paper as packaging. So I obviously use that in the spread. I saw this illustration in a magazine and I wanted to use it. And so created this sort of graphic collage background. This background is actually a 2-size self-portrait using the method of touch drawing, where there's ink on the back of the paper. You put the paper on a board and you're just drawing with your finger, and it creates a sort of resist on the other side. So wherever you touch, that's what comes up. So I have a lot of artwork that is just, sort of random things, and I decided I'm going to tear it up and use it in the spread. And then I journaled and did some self-reflection writing on the background. It's just part of the process, not necessarily needs to be super legible. And that's the thing about creative journaling as well. It doesn't have to follow the same format. It doesn't have to be journaling in the traditional sense. So this one was from my birthday, 21 May. I hosted a little birthday craft collage dinner with a few friends, and it was the first time I had a birthday in, I don't know, since I was maybe 6-7 years old. And yeah, I turned 32, and I woke up this week and I was like, I would like to create with my people. I would like to celebrate life. So that's what I did. And everyone had such a good time. They created collage vision boards. So sometimes when it's what do I create in my journal? What can you put in your journal? Anything, literally anything. And I know there's a bazillion prompts that you can use, but sometimes it feels very forceful to now excavate and think of a time and what do you dream? And, it feels very, I don't want to say generic, but it feels very okay, let me go process some shit now. But sometimes you just need a simple, who are you? As an abstract sort of question. And just respond to it in a way that sort of, feels poetic or literal. It doesn't, whatever your creative processing methods are. I like to respond to be a bit vague and abstract and just respond in the moment, because I don't have to look back on this in 5 years' time and be like, oh, I understand exactly what I was writing about. No, I understood in this moment, and that's all that matters. Stunning. So this is also from the Women's Moon Gathering Circle where we create. I just seem to do stuff in my journal because it's what I do. It's what I do. Birthday things I received and the receipt from the cafe that we went to, and a birthday card from my niece and friends and family. yeah, just using visuals that are interesting. Like this is quite a psychedelic looking visual. Also from Clarissa Pinkole's Stairs. It was in a lovely article. And so I cut it out because I like what she writes. I love her philosophy. I love her thoughts. I love that book. Here's some pink vibes. It's not my favorite color, but I do use it sometimes. And this is a bit of a spiritual reflection. So this is a little, very much junk journal spread from a road trip I took with my mom. We went to my friend's bakery. We went to this cheese shop. We went to this fairy garden juice that we had. This background is from a coffee cup, business cards, and unlucky number 13. It was funny because the guest house we were staying at, the number was 13, but they labeled it as 12B. And we realized, okay, it's probably because they're superstitious about the number 13. But what's crazy is that my childhood home that we just packed up, that number of the house is number 13. So that is actually my lucky number, my favorite number. Here is also just a color burst. This is a painting I did for whatever purpose I did that for. There was a time where I was painting and drawing a lot of chairs. A music spread. I just thought I'd do a music spread, what I'm listening to. Goes in the other journals of Sisterhood of the Traveling Journal. I did a lot of music spreads there, and I focused a lot on Daft Punk because I love Daft Punk. Here we're getting to the end of the journal. So there's a lot of these sort of visuals that I found. It's quite big and I want to use them as is. And this is a sort of closing for this journal. Beginning, end. And the last spread, making use of the backgrounds of stickers, you know, when you complete all the stars. Some mood board things. And so that is this journal. It really has evolved over time. Yeah, I love to think of it as actually creative mood boarding, creative visioning for myself to kind of solidify moments in my life, or when I just want to reflect on something without being literal about it, because we don't always have to be literal about things. I love the abstract. I love the alternative. I love finding new ways of expressing what it is that I'm thinking, because I think a lot. This type of journaling really allows my brain to just decompress, because I think a lot and I can write a lot, but I like to transmute it into an archive of myself. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.